Africa is the future. America is gone.
So while the administration frames this as protecting Americans, the real world results is Americans losing access abroad, country by country, and January 1st is just the beginning.
And Ibrahim Traore, the Lion of Africa, has decided to reciprocate that tit for tat is a fair game. You ban us, we ban you.
But just to show the African countries that the African countries can now say no, they have decided even the United States of America citizens will not be allowed to get into Burkina Faso.
When was the last time you had an African country sanctioning almighty America?
Let me remind you, just this year alone, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of United States citizens, be they blacks or white, visited the Sahel countries. Forget about that thing. The United States is just a country like every other country. The same struggles you are going through, a lot of them go through the same struggles. The same bad governance you complain in your country, they are also going through bad governance. What are the presidents of all these other countries who were banned doing? What are they doing? They are trying to lick the behind of Donald Trump. What a shame to these African leaders. They come to our countries, take our minerals, take everything, and they still turn around and ban us from coming to their countries.
And this has shown Africans that we have the ability to say no, even though many African countries have been begging the United States of America to allow their citizens to go there. The question is, do you think there's going to be consequences or not?
Hello folks, welcome to the channel and into the new year 2026. At the close of 2025, actually the last day of the year, something interesting happened. We saw Mali and Burkina Faso impose retaliatory visa restrictions on US citizens. So while for some Americans this was shocking, but as a black American or as a black person, I expect this not to take you by surprise. Why? Because this was long overdue. If you have been following on foreign policies, you understand that countries do respond just in a similar way to how they are treated. Because power, just like respect, isn't a one-way traffic. It's two-way. But what have we been seeing in the United States? Immigration policy is actually racialized, where security is often a code word, and this sees entire populations getting labeled instead of handling the specific threat or whatever it is. This matters both for Americans and Black Americans because while we have different histories, we're in the same global positioning. So anyway, this isn't about visas, it's about dignity, it's about power and consequences. So we really can't keep pretending that policy choices are accidental. They actually planned long before they happen. And the buck stops with the leadership. So that's where we call for accountability. Policies, as we all know, they have costs. And who is responsible? They're the leaders. Into the video, I'll be playing a couple of clips of different creators reacting to this breaking news. And what we'll be answering is that what happens when people you dismiss stop cooperating, because now African countries are retaliating against Trump's administration. So when I finally chime in with my commentaries at the very end of this, these are the pertinent questions or issues that we'll be addressing. So I implore you to watch the very end and kindly consider subscribing. See you then.
Breaking news, Burkina Faso and Mali has permanently banned USA. So this is after USA banned Sahel state, that is Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso. So Niger was the first country to retaliate on the Africans ban. So Niger restricted all the visas for USA citizens. So from now on, you cannot get if you're a US citizen, you cannot get a visa to go to Niger. And now last night, Burkina Faso and Mali, they retaliated and they permanently banned all USA citizens. So these three countries, they are the only African countries which have retaliated on Trump banning and restricting a lot of African countries. All the other countries, they are quiet and they are not saying anything concerning this. Only Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they have retaliated and they say that they are not going to be a pushover. If you don't want us in your own country, we also don't want you in our own country, or permanently banned. No officials or anyone can go to Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Well, this doesn't affect the people who already have the visas for the Sahel state. If you already have the visa, you cannot renew your visa and you cannot get any other visa. When it's finished, you need to go back to your own country.
Major breaking news. Ibrahim Traore, the Lion of Africa, has done the unthinkable. He has completely banned the American citizens from visiting Burkina Faso. This is after the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, went ahead and banned Burkina Faso completely from entering the United States. And Ibrahim Traore, the Lion of Africa, has decided to reciprocate that tit for tat is a fair game. You ban us, we ban you. Whereby he has gone ahead and actually suspended issuing visas to the American citizens who are willing to visit Burkina Faso. You won't believe this. Let me tell you, it's not gonna be business as usual. This happened a few days after Mali President Assimi Goïta went ahead and actually banned the American citizens from entering the United States. You won't believe the Sahel nations, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and others were categorized as high-risked nations to be visited by Donald J. Trump. And now these Sahel revolutionary leaders have decided to reciprocate that tit for tat is a fair game. You do us, we do you. And that's how everything should be done across Africa.
I'm Troy Beverly, and this is Pan-African News. The Sahel. Burkina Faso and Mali impose travel bans on U.S. citizens in retaliation. In separate statements, the military governments of Burkina Faso and Mali informed late on Tuesday, December 30th, 2025, that they would reply in kind to the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump and ban U.S. citizens from entering their countries. As stated by Actu Niger, the Burkinabe government said it would apply equivalent measures to U.S. citizens in the interest of the principle of reciprocity and mutual respect between sovereign nations. By the same token, the Malian government said it takes note of the move made by the Trump administration while regretting that it was adopted without any prior consultation, and that Mali was forced to implement with immediate effect the same entry restrictions that the United States has imposed on Malian citizens to U.S. citizens. According to AP, the Trump administration expanded earlier travel restrictions on December 16th to 20 more countries, including Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Washington cited persistent attacks by armed groups in these three countries, in part for its travel ban, which is scheduled to begin on January 1st. As mentioned by the BBC and RTE, the Nigeria State News Agency reported on December 25th that Niger had imposed a similar travel ban on U.S. citizens. Similarly, Chad announced in June that it would stop issuing visas to U.S. citizens after it appeared on a travel ban list of 12 countries.
So we have some major breaking news, and this is good news coming from Burkina Faso. The government of Burkina Faso has decided to do what the United States of America did to them. So the United States of America added Burkina Faso, one of the Sahel states, into their travel ban list. And according to that list that was released just recently, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger were the first country to be totally banned from entering into the United States of America. And just today, the government of Burkina Faso has said that it is going to reciprocate what the United States of America has done. According to the president of Burkina Faso, they said that these are the countries that have cut themselves from the West. and they do not have any laws, even if the United States of America decides to ban them from getting into the United States of America. But just to show the African countries that the African countries can now say no, they have decided even the United States of America citizens will not be allowed to get into Burkina Faso. And this has become the second country in Africa to say no to the United States of America. If you ban us, we also ban you. This is known as the rule of reciprocation. If you decide to ban us, we also ban you. And these two countries in Africa, Mali and Burkina Faso, have become the first countries to ban the United States of America.
Two countries have just now announced travel bans on U.S. citizens in direct response to Trump's new travel ban. Earlier this month, Trump expanded visa restrictions on 39 countries, with full and partial bans set to take effect January 1st, 2026. The White House says it's about security, but now other countries are responding with one word: reciprocity. Mali and Burkina Faso have both confirmed they're banning Americans from entering their countries, saying U.S. citizens will now face the same restrictions their citizens face trying to enter the United States. Mali's foreign ministry made it explicit: if their citizens are restricted, Americans will be too. Burkina Faso echoed the same reasoning. And they're not alone. Niger has gone even further, announcing a permanent ban on visas and entry for all U.S. nationals. Chad also suspended visas for Americans earlier this year after landing on an earlier U.S. ban list. So while the administration frames this as protecting Americans, the real-world results is Americans losing access abroad, country by country, and January 1st is just the beginning.
Reports indicate that Mali and Burkina Faso are considering banning U.S. citizens from entering their countries, a move that could sharply escalate diplomatic tensions. If confirmed, it would mark a significant shift in West Africa's relations with Washington.
Guys, the AES is not joking. These guys are damn serious. When was the last time you had an African country sanctioning almighty America? Well, the unthinkable just happened. So on 16th of December 2025, United States released a list of countries that their citizens will be denied visa. And all the three AES countries were part: Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Well, Burkina Faso and Mali decided to also fire back. So they also decided to sanction American citizens from getting visa into Burkina Faso and Mali. According to them, they are using the same principle. They are using the same rules that America laid down. So whatever America intends to do to their citizens, they are also going to use the same system. So this is pure retaliation, an eye for eye. So according to the foreign ministry of Burkina Faso and Mali, they will do exactly what the Americans do to them. So this is an eye for eye. You know, America is a very powerful country. After the world moved from a multipolar world to a unipolar world after the collapse of the USSR, all the institutions in the world were controlled by America. So usually when the United States sanction a country, especially these countries, they're called third world countries. And you know, all the countries in Africa here are labeled as third world countries. That is what they claim. So usually these countries go and appeal, or they apologize in order to be in the good books of almighty America. But this time around, these guys are not playing games. For them, no apology, no appeal, an eye for eye. Basically, that is what they are doing. Well, let's dive deep into the story. So this is from Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso implements reciprocal full visa ban on American citizens, says the foreign minister. The decision directly responds to a U.S. announcement on December 16th to suspend visa issuance for Burkinabe citizens starting January 1st, 2026. Well, quite interesting. The Burkinabe government framed the action as a matter of sovereign equality and mutual respect in international relations, according to the minister. And this is what Mali Foreign Ministry also said. They said, in accordance with the principle of reciprocity, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs informed the nation and international community that the government of Mali will, with immediate effect, apply the same conditions and requirements to American nationals as those imposed on Malian citizens, the ministry announced. So, if you read it furthermore, it says, on December 16th, Washington expanded the list of countries whose nationals are banned from entering the United States, adding Burkina Faso, Niger, South Sudan, Sierra Leone, you know, and on and on and on. So basically this is an eye for eye. That is what these countries are doing. For more African geopolitical contents like this, please hit on the like button. It is a sign that you guys are interested in such topics, and I'll create more. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Maybe I am wrong. Before I even started this video, I decided to make some 1 or 2 research and see what is the crime of these countries. After making research, I found nothing. So guys, if you know the crime that Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger and Sierra Leone committed for them to be denied visas, please let me know down in the comment section. So just last week, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger decided to create their own bank. They are working on a united army. The AES continue to kick out Western-backed companies, and I believe this is part of the reason why they are sanctioning them, because they are led by military governments. They are not led by civilian governments, and I think the United States don't like it. They want them to return the country back to civilian government. Well, that is what I think. That is my opinion, by the way. Just last week, the AES created their own bank. Currently, they are moving away from the Francophone CFA. You know, you can never be truly independent if you don't control your own money. And that is exactly what the AES is doing. Now, when you go to Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, you will see AES Bank. These guys are creating their own system. So these guys are not joking. They are really serious. Anything about neocolonialism, they are trying to kick out neocolonialism completely from, you know, their various countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, right?
Unpopular opinion as an American, but if the United States government is banning people from certain countries from coming into the United States at all, no matter what, then those countries have the full right and absolutely should reciprocally ban American citizens from entering their countries, which is exactly what the country of Niger did this week when they issued a reciprocal and complete ban on visas for U.S. nationals and indefinitely banned U.S. nationals from entering Niger in response to Trump banning citizens of Niger from coming to the United States. And I get it, you don't care. You picked Fort Lauderdale this year over Niamey for your vacation, but it's actually quite significant. And I'm not defending the junta government of Niger, but this is part of a broader movement and willingness of African states to demand mutual respect rather than bow to unilateral pressure from the United States government. You saw this earlier this year. The government of Chad announced that they wouldn't be issuing new visas for U.S. citizens after the U.S. government announced the same. And the government of Mali announced that U.S. citizens would have to post a $10,000 bond before visiting after the U.S. government required the same of their citizens. This isn't going to have a whole lot of impact on either economy, but symbolically this shows a major move away from an asymmetric relationship with Western colonial powers.
Family, let's give a big shout out to all the 3 AES states. Yesterday I shared with you that Niger retaliated with a principle of reciprocity, right? That was on the 29th, and yesterday, December 30th, 2025, Mali and Burkina Faso followed suit. They both retaliated to Trump's visa ban towards their countries with the same principle of reciprocity. They decreed in their statements saying that they decried the fact that the United States did that without consulting with them, and that in the spirit of reciprocity, their countries are also issuing a ban, a total ban for visa issues to citizens of the United States who want to travel to Burkina Faso or to Mali. Now, there were some people yesterday who came to my comment section and they were saying, but really, what would the United States citizens travel to go do in Niger? And they're going to say the same thing for Burkina Faso, for Mali. Let me remind you, just this year alone, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of United States citizens, be they blacks or white, visited the Sahel countries, if you don't know. And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of your state officials visited the Sahel country this year alone. Go find out. You will learn about it. Okay? So yes, the same way they don't want the Sahel citizens, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, to visit or to travel to the United States, the same thing that the Sahel states have decreed and issued a ban on all visas towards those coming from the USA. Principle of reciprocity, and everybody goes their way. Guys, there's something I want to say here. It is about time everybody woke up and start to know that the United States is not a safe haven. It is not a safe haven. Forget about those movies, those Hollywood movies you watch. Forget about those Hollywood movies you watch. The same struggles you are going through, a lot of them go through the same struggles. The same bad governance you complain in your country, they are also going through bad governance when other presidents come to power, like what we are seeing today in the United States. A lot of people live on the streets. A lot of people are going through tough times. And guys, forget about that thing. The United States is just a country like every other country. Are they an advanced country? Of course, they are advanced, okay? They are advanced. But that doesn't mean that other countries cannot survive on their own, okay? So that is something every African, everybody needs to know. You can make it wherever you are. You must not go to the United States before you make it. Another thing I wanted to mention here, which is very important, is what are other African countries doing? I don't care about other countries in the Middle East, in Europe, or wherever, but I care about my fellow other African countries. What are the presidents of all these other countries who were banned doing? What are they doing? They're not doing anything. Busy trying to lick the behind of the United States. They are trying to lick the behind of Donald Trump. What a shame to these African leaders. We keep telling you guys, we are going to kick all of you out of the offices because people like you, those weak ass presidents, are the ones putting us in this mess. If all you 55 heads of states in Africa could stand up and reciprocate to the United States or to any country that dares to look at you like shit, we will not be where we are today. They come to our countries, take our minerals, take everything, and they still turn around and ban you, ban us from coming to their countries. So why don't you heads of states in Africa sit up and say, we are banning you also from getting our minerals. We are banning you also from getting any natural resources. You are going to do real international business with us if you want to. African heads of state, the youth of Africa are calling on you to stand up and start doing the right thing. If you don't trust us, we are going to bring all of you down one after another. Family, let me know what you think in the comment section. See you in my next one. And kudos to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger for showing Africa that this is just the right way to go. La patrie ou la mort, nous vaincrons.
Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso and Mali has banned US nationals from entering Burkina Faso and Mali. In the reciprocation to Donald Trump policy, Donald Trump added Burkina Faso and Mali to the travel ban list. Now Burkina Faso and Mali has retaliated with the same measure by banning by placing travel ban on US nationals, on US citizens who wants to enter Burkina Faso and Mali. You know, this was the reason why I told you guys America is gone. America is gone. For Burkina Faso and Mali to be placing travel ban on US as a reciprocation of Donald Trump's policy. Africa is the future. America is gone. This is the reason why I told you that America is fighting. The United States of America is fighting for survival. Donald Trump is not seeing the damage he has done to the US economy. He's not seeing the damage it's causing the US economy. Donald Trump is not seeing it. Because if Donald Trump is seeing it, he will not still go ahead and be banning countries. I'm telling you the facts. I love my Burkina Faso people. I love my Malian people. Yeah. Kudos to Burkina Faso and Mali. This is how it's supposed to go. Tit for tat. You go for tit for tat. When they place travel ban on you, you reciprocate by placing travel ban on them too. That is it. It is not only the United States of America that can place travel ban on countries. Other countries around the world have to do the same thing to reciprocate. They have to reciprocate the same thing to the United States of America so that they will know how it feels.
Yes, guys, the AES has done it again. Mali and Burkina Faso has now placed a reciprocal visa ban on the US. Yes, if you have never shared any of my video, I want you guys to share this video intensively. Let's dive into why and what is actually happening between the US and this Sahel state. You guys know a couple of weeks ago, the US came out and expanded its visa restriction countries for Africa. And that list had partial restrictions and permanent restrictions. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso had permanent restrictions. Which means that what? Whatever happened, they are not going to go to the US anymore. Even DRC Congo and some other countries were also in that list. And now, the AES being what they are, you guys know about the blog, right? They are always proactive. Immediately, Niger came up and placed a reciprocal visa ban on the US. Mali and Burkina Faso simultaneously have now also placed a reciprocal ban, permanent ban on citizens of the US. This is how it is done. This is what we call diplomacy. This is what we call sovereignty. This is what we call self-respect. Yes, respect for a nation. And the moment a nation projects themselves like, okay, they can't do without this, or they are more autonomous in this, you have to know that there's a problem. Yes, and now Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have instituted a visa restriction for the US, a permanent visa restriction. Which means that from now on forward, when that publication was made yesterday in the night, so they said from that henceforth, US citizens will not be given a visa to Mali and also Burkina Faso. Yes, this is how it is supposed to be done. You guys remember that the last time the US placed a bounty for Malian citizens entering the country for over $5,000 US. That means you have to prove that you have 5,000 before they can give you a category B1 and B2 visa. And Mali didn't waste time. They went ahead to increase the amount to $15,000 and said they were increasing the amount. And what happened? The US removed those restrictions. And now it's at the level where a permanent ban has now been placed. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think other African countries should be doing when they face this kind of visa restriction, unjustified visa restrictions
from countries, especially the US and other European countries.
So we have some major breaking news, and this is good news coming from Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. So Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger have decided to respond to what the United States of America decided to do to them. And they have said these are the first countries to say no to the United States of America. So a few months ago, the United States of America decided that the citizens of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger are going to be restricted from getting into the United States of America. In fact, from that travel list ban, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger were the first country to be mentioned. Their citizens will not be allowed to get into the United States of America. And just recently, they came out and said that they are going to reciprocate what the United States of America has done to them. And they have come out and said that because the United States of America decided to ban their citizens, they too have banned the citizens of the United States of America. They will not be issuing visas, and they will not be allowing the citizens of the United States of America to get in Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, whatever the rank they are in the United States of America. And this has shown Africans that we have the ability to say no, even though many African countries have been begging the United States of America to allow their citizens to go there. Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, they are saying that they do not have any need to go to the United States of America. The question is, do you think there's going to be consequences or not?
So a big thank you to all of you for sticking to this very end. This is the most important part of this presentation, where we analyze, we review, and we contextualize everything we've heard from the clips. So the last speaker spoke about whether there would be consequences. Of course there would be, because we know that for every action, there is actually an equal and opposite reaction. And even the Bible speaks to this. We have heard from Obadiah 1 verse 15, which says, as you have done, it will also be done unto you. So today, we are watching that principle play out in real time. That is, the US visa restrictions meeting retaliatory feedback from Mali and Burkina Faso. It isn't just about politics, it's about the consequences thereof. I opine that reciprocity is not hostility. You know, international politics run on reciprocity. If you restrict people, what do you expect? Of course, they will also restrict you. So Mali and Burkina Faso, they didn't attack the US, as you may know. What they did was just to mirror the US behavior. And this is not anti-American. It is how states respond whenever they're treated as if they're disposables. And that brings us to the policy choices that actually triggered this. It's the blanket bans, which in my opinion are lazy policies. More often than not, America hides behind security concerns. But what happens when it applies to an entire population without considering who is who and who is wrong and who could be right? Distinction between individuals, the measures imposed are punitive and not even strategic in the first place. So it signals disrespect rather than partnership. When you treat all nations like a problem, like they're a problem, you should not get surprised when they stop playing along. And here is where Black Americans should pay attention. They say, if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, then probably it's a duck. That is why Black Americans need to see this clearly. Collective suspicion is familiar. Security risk language mirrors policing rhetoric, being punished for proximity and not merely actions. So as a community of blacks, and in this context, Black Americans, you actually don't need a briefing to understand collective punishment. It is a thing that you live every day. It's an everyday lived reality. So this isn't about foreign policy, it's just about mindset. Then we also transition to another important aspect, the Africa-Black American connection. While Africans and Black Americans are distinct in a couple of ways, like having different histories, they share same global hierarchy. That is why when black bodies are restricted globally, it reflects worldview. That worldview always circles back home. So different passports don't change how power views black people, it only manages them. And that's why leadership comes in. We have said previously that the buck stops with the leadership. In the American context, immigration is framed as a threat, not diplomacy. So we also saw Trump pioneered stuff like American First, MAGA, and all that. They ignored the global consequences and concentrated on America itself, without considering that America does not exist in isolation. It coexists with other countries. Such policies, in my opinion, are myopic. Why? Because they focus on short-term political wins as opposed to the long-term damage. And here's the part that no one wants to talk about. The cost always skips the decision makers, because Trump and his administration have imposed all this stuff on other countries. But you'll never see politicians suffer travel bans, but regular people do. So in the long run, black Americans get blamed. So as we come to the very end of this, there are some bigger takeaways that we need to consider. Respect invites cooperation. So if the United States does not appear to respect other countries, they will also disrespect the United States. The other thing is that punishment invites resistance. As a child, or maybe if you have a child, if you continue spanking the child over and over without really addressing the problem, the child becomes resistant and defiant. That's exactly what we're experiencing between the United States and Mali and Burkina Faso and such, and more countries in the Sahel. This is what happens when policy forgets dignity. You can't demand respect while practicing exclusion, brothers and sisters. And black Americans saw this coming. And so, brothers and sisters, I implore you to be vigilant and look out for this draconian government. Let me not talk too much so that it becomes a one-man show. You can also continue the conversation by commenting in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed, you are missing a lot. Kindly do so. I'll see you guys in the next video.